My name is John Gambrell. I'm an Associated Press correspondent in Tehran, Iran. Right now, Iran is soon to face more crushing sanctions from the United States, especially on its crucial oil industry. That oil industry provides Iran hard currency it needs to support its economy. Trade ties between China and Iran date back over 2,000 years to the ancient Silk Road caravan routes that brought the textile to Europe. Modern relations, however, began under then-ruler Mohammad Reza Shah in 1971, after the Americans acknowledged Beijing's communist government. The 1979 Islamic Revolution that overthrew the Shah caused ties to cool until the mid-1980s. First among China's wants likely is Iran's energy supplies. The U.S. is pressuring its allies to cut off their purchases by a November deadline. Nearly a quarter of all Iran's oil exports went to China in 2017. That makes it the Islamic Republic's biggest single market. After French oil major Total SA pulled out of a $5 billion agreement to develop Iran's massive South Pars offshore natural gas field, growing rumors circulated that China would take over the concession. One thing that analysts say may happen is Beijing may go to Tehran and ask for high concessions for these oil sales, meaning that Iran may have to sell their oil at below market prices to Beijing. Analysts believe this is very likely to happen. Analysts also believe that it's very likely that Beijing will get other concessions from Iran moving forward, maybe on the economic front, maybe also on other interests that China and Iran share. India may face growing pressure to pull out of Iran's Chabahar port on the Gulf of Oman after pledging $500 million to improve it. That would allow China to expand its own presence there. China already has invested in a Pakistani port only 80 kilometers away. Both provide a crucial link to Afghanistan and other landlocked Central Asian nations. The U.S. under President Barack Obama and European nations pressured China and other Asian nations to cut back on their purchases of Iranian crude oil, leading to the 2015 nuclear deal. Under that deal, Iran agreed to limit its enrichment of uranium in exchange for Western sanctions being lifted. Analysts expect Beijing will also try to wring out major discounts from Tehran for buying whatever crude it otherwise can't sell after the American deadline of November. The one thing China does not want to see happen is any military action affecting the price of crude oil. China is the world's top oil importer, so anytime that crude oil prices rise, Beijing feels the pressure. When Iranian President Hassan Rouhani made veiled threats about Iran's ability to close off the Strait of Hormuz, the Chinese immediately reached out to the Iranian government to express its concerns. Now, one of the things is, not everybody is happy with the Chinese coming into the Iranian market. Some remember in 2006 to 2009, when the nuclear sanctions were especially difficult, that China flooded the Iranian market with substandard goods. The Chinese also promised things that they didn't deliver on. So there's a little bit of apprehension among Iranians, and analysts also believe now that China will probably take advantage of Iran in the same